You do have a quorum.
We do have a quorum?
We do have a quorum.
All right. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. So you will need to call the meeting to order, Brian, sir.
Call the meeting to order of the Lathrup Village DDA for June 22nd, special meeting. Start with a roll call.
Right. Bobby Levens.
Here.
Brian Ford.
Here.
Kelly Garrett. Scott McKee.
Here.
Fred Prime. Pam Schermeyer. Dan Suck.
Here.
Charlotte Jones.
Here.
All right. Vice Chair, you do have a quorum. We will need to get a motion to excuse Fred and Pam. I did hear from both of them
Okay.
that they were not going to be here.
So we need a motion for an excused absence for Pam and Fred.
Brian, I'll be happy to do that for you.
And I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And I guess this needs to be part of the motion, but just as an FYI, it was announced. It's just while we were waiting for a quorum last week, Mark Watts has officially resigned. So we will be looking for a new business member.
Was it time or was he moving?
Yeah, time. He's this was the third board that he is on, and his foundation is also doing a whole lot of work. They have some pretty significant projects they're working on up north, and this is just.
Yeah, I just want to make sure he wasn't moving his business out. I mean.
Nope.
Yeah,
He's
good.
still going to be here.
Good.
Both his business and his foundation are still based here. He's still, he has no plans to move his residence or anything like that. He's just stretched too thin and is not able to, focus his time and attention on the DDA board like he would like to. So,
Good.
So keep your thinking caps on. So, but anyways, okay, now to approval of the agenda.
Oh, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All opposed? No. All right.
We don't have the minutes though. Oh, here are these. The other ones?
Next up is the approval of the minutes. Sorry, Brian. You
so
should be
those
doing
are
this.
the old
Sorry.
minutes.
No issues. So I would need a motion for the approval of the May 27th DDA minutes of 2022.
Yeah, I've reviewed the minutes. They look accurate to me. So I motion to approve and accept the minutes from May 27th.
I'll second that,
Second.
Brian.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That
Oh, good grief.
brings
Oh,
us
they're
to
two-sided.
Item 4, financial review.
There's not much on the financial review because I've given Susie more information so that she can do the budget amendments for the, so that these can be passed this time. Right now, you guys have $247,000 going back into your fund balance as of right now, but I don't know what's coming down the pike because I'm sure you guys have sidewalk payments that are due, so.
Yep.
But this is just for May, up to May. You guys are in really good shape on your budget, and we did anticipate some money being coming out of the fund balance with the sidewalks and things like that were being done for the businesses, but
That was the 76 grand or whatever.
Which page are you on, Pam?
I'm just looking at page 4.
And to
Okay,
add
so
to
page
Revenue expense.
Pam on that, I did talk
Yeah, that's
to the
weird.
city's engineer
6.
yesterday, and we will be getting those invoices
no wonder.
for the 2021 sidewalk, any remaining work for Southfield. Also, I know this kind of gets ahead of us a little bit, but the sidewalks along 12 Mile are essentially, they're almost done.
Okay.
They cranked that out over like that towards the end of last week and over the weekend. So we will be getting invoices for those, I would imagine, by the end of the
This
month.
fiscal year.
Yeah, well, I guess the end of the month is in a few
Yeah.
days, but we will be getting those invoices.
I might take that way back. Check them out. So.
Right?
Yeah.
They do look mighty nice.
That's the K&D cement
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, so there wasn't much on there for the April, usually towards this time of the year with budget amendments coming up and things like that.
So how do they invoice you then, Susie, just out of curiosity, by section?
So what'll happen is now, so, you know, we had a bid process that went out. They knew what we were gonna be doing.
Right.
So last year, the initial bid went out for the sidewalks, and they knew that this was gonna be a 3-year project. So we took the option to have Katie come back and do year 2. And they knew at the beginning of this year that we were gonna be doing 12 Mile, that was our project area for this year. And then, so we went out, we marked, the engineers and I went out and marked what needed to be replaced. And then once they're complete, the engineers will go back out, walk the whole project again, all of 12 Mile, make sure there are no deficiencies in the work that may need to be fixed, or any other punch list items like you've seen it. Like they do some other punch list things going on for their work on Southfield. So like you may have seen like new sidewalk, and there's like an area of asphalt where the you know, like the parking lot abuts the new sidewalk,
right.
and there it's like, you know, there's clearly work that needs to be done, so they'll make sure that all of that is satisfied. They'll quantify exactly how much, you know, how much concrete was laid, how much stone did they have to lay down. We did discover that there's we have 8-inch asphalt, which is, it's weird. So they've had to do a little bit more work, but so once they've had an opportunity to walk, quantify, and identify anything that needs to be fixed, then we'll get a
Invoice.
we'll get an invoice
Makes
from
sense.
them.
Yeah.
So, but so right now, unless there's any other questions on the financials, we just need a motion to receive and file those May.
Have a motion to receive and file the financials?
I'll make a motion to receive and file the financials from May 2022.
Yeah, I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
All right. So
Do I have to say all opposed?
No,
Everybody
All
said
opposed, motion carried.
you should give them an opportunity to
Motion
oppose.
carries, okay.
Yeah.
I'd say opposed, but I don't have voting rights, so.
That brings us to committee reports.
So I'll just give you a quick rundown. Since we had Juneteenth over the weekend, I would say it was a fantastic success. It was steadily, we had a steady crowd of people from 12 on to the end of the event. We had probably over 75 attendees. I mean, they were regularly cycling through. We had, let's see, how many did we have? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We had 10 different vendors that were there selling anything from, we had art, we had jewelry, we had some, we had a t-shirt vendor, we had a wide variety. We had bounce houses, we had a couple different food options, plus our entertainment. Our storyteller came back. We had our hustle lessons. That was tons of fun. And then we also had a steel drum panist close out the event. So all in all, I'd say for event number 2,
Yeah.
it was a fantastic success. We did go, we had initially kind of had a low budget of roughly $2,000. Our total expenses actually ended up being about $3,800. But that initial budget did not account for the stipend that the board elected to give out. And then we had also been really banking on getting the county's bounce houses, and we just weren't able to get that, but we felt that that was a good addition for the kids to do. So so a little over budget, but still not terrible. And I think we figured out where we're gonna have some additional areas for improvement for next year, and we're gonna do a follow-up
Yeah, I saw a couple of small mentions in social media, and it hit kind of that news pickup wire that I follow. But do we have any opportunity to get any attraction from any of the news channels to drive some excitement about that? I mean, I know there's a lot going on, it seems like quickly,
Yeah.
but
We did have, there was a little something in the Southfield Sun. They had some of their own issues over the course of the last month and a bit. They were hacked, and so they've been having to rebuild their website, redo like all kinds of things. So we did miss out on one of our advertising opportunities. We had originally said we were going to post for 2 sequential editions, and we were only able to get one of those because they'd gotten hacked, and we weren't able to get that. But there was a little mention in there, like not only was our ad in there, but we also they did mention it when they did our write-up on the cleanup. Brittany also reached out to a whole bunch of media contacts that we had. I mean, obviously we didn't get a ton of traction, but and that was a repeated conversation that we had within the Juneteenth, like how can we
More exposure,
improve exposure to the event, communication, and I think that'll be one of our focus areas. And I think we are going to start planning a lot earlier
Good.
for next year's event, and we'll be doing a debrief here as soon as we possibly can.
yeah.
So, but all in all, we got some great feedback.
How'd the food trucks do?
Oh, they were great. They were great.
They left happy?
They left happy.
Nice.
They left very
Good.
happy. So it was quite tasty. So,
Yeah.
so we had
That's
an egg roll, sister rolls.
Oh.
So they do their spin on egg rolls. She's like, don't worry, it's not a coney dog. It just looks like it because it's on a stick. But it was super tasty. So they were very happy to be there, and they've said that they are interested and willing to come back for anything they may have. So we're like, sweet.
Yeah, great.
So yeah,
Okay.
so that's just my brief report on that. We're gonna start getting back into the city has made an offer to for the permanent city administrator position. So I'm wildly optimistic that once she's officially on board, that once I'm able to pass off some of those things that I've been taking on the last few months, that we'll get back to really focusing on our DDA activities
Great.
and those committees. So
Do we need a motion to accept the report, or do we move on to other business?
nope, we can just move on to other business. And I will just jump right in. So in your packet is the code enforcement report. We've had, I mean, you'll notice they kind of keep bouncing back and forth on these report styles. We've been having some technical challenges with BSNA and making sure that all of the commercial properties are identified appropriately so we can pull them from the BSNA system, and there seems to be some sort of, I believe it's a setting that somehow keeps getting turned off. I don't know if it's a user error. I don't know if it's something, like if it's just something that needs to be changed. Or maybe it gets messed up when we do our monthly updates to the county. We're trying to figure it out. So
Gotcha.
this is the report that includes, it includes everything. It's not
Right,
just
I was gonna
DDA
ask about
properties.
that, exactly, so that makes sense.
So, but this does have everything this does have all of the commercial inspections as well. So, stay tuned.
Would it be easier if you run it as a whole report and then maybe highlight, how many businesses do we have? Maybe 3 or so? You could just highlight them, or is it a lot? Maybe it's a lot and I'm naive.
Well,
and just
for-
highlight them makes it easier for you guys.
For a little while, we were only getting 7, and they were the same 7 properties. So, we definitely have way more than 7 properties within the DDA, and certainly way more than 7 that had violations. So, we're really just we're not sure what the what the deal is with BSNA. I'd like to just try and keep it to commercial.
Yeah, this is almost unreadable.
Right.
I don't know what's.
I know.
Right. We'll just move on.
Yeah, well, I don't know. This is.
So,
I think a spreadsheet would be better.
And just so you know, we are, one of our police officers is going to be going on light duty, and as part of that, she's gonna be doing some, code enforcement work in the DDA as well. As, you know, to kind of help lighten that load and.
Right, how does that work then? If you have 7 habitual offenders, right? Is that, like, what's the next step with that? Like
We're
you-
just
you
gonna-
issue the fine or whatever and,
Well, I mean, we'll continue to, continue to enforce the code. I don't know if those 7 are necessarily even still on this list, right? I'm just saying that, like, per the BSNA system, they were the ones that would show up. So that's,
gotcha.
that's all. But, you know, so you'll, so it's, Offner, oh God, shit. Say her last name. I always mess it up. I just call her Remy.
That's Geisbers.
Geisbergs, because I only think about like how it's spelled, but Geisberg, so Officer Geisberg will be doing, you'll see
So it's
her out
Remy and Rami now?
Yes.
there.
Yeah, what are the odds of that?
I know.
That's like a
That's
tongue
good.
twister.
For a minute, I'm like, are you kidding me?
We've changed the vowels, okay? The vowels are different, the
That's
genders
funny.
are different, the approaches are probably a little bit different. So, but just, you know, so when you see her out there,
What is this?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed last meeting because, I mean, they see that we had some communication coaching with
Yeah,
Yes.
our code enforcement, so I'm gonna
Yes.
go back and watch that because I thought that was desperately needed.
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So that's just kind of
Oh,
the
lordy.
brief code enforcement
Okay.
update.
Oh, my.
Really, and then I'll just kind of
Look how
move
many
right into
pages
my
it is.
own, or I kind of flipped them, sorry about that. Juneteenth was really the thing I wanted to, you know, update you with the most. There is gonna be a corridor cleanup in July, and we're just working on identifying those dates. And, but otherwise, I mean, we're moving
Great.
forward. Yeah, like I said, project work on 12 miles basically done. So,
We're in July, basically, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're,
Yeah.
Yeah.
A week
we're a
away.
week away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna take June for all it's worth.
Yeah.
So, but are there any questions at all on
We
my
want 4 more
department
weeks to
report?
June.
Or anything else you'd like me to specifically touch base on for that?
I'm good.
All right,
Old business,
we have none.
new business.
We have some. So, the bulk of our new business is our budget amendments. I tried to highlight exactly, and of course my copy is a terrible copy, but, the main categories, oh, thank you. The main categories, where we made, amendments are in, salaries and wages, the employee taxes and benefits, our tax tribunal, returns, streetscaping and planning consultant fees. The biggest one really is the salaries and wages. As I outlined in the memo, both Pam and I are, we received, a little extra from, taking on those responsibilities for the interim city administrator role, and we didn't have a time frame for when, you know, how long that was gonna take, and that just was not reflected in the January amendments, for that, and that was honestly my omission from January, but thinking that we were gonna be doing this in now, to have a better account of what that would be. So there's, so that's where that big change is. Like I said, I do believe that, well, I don't believe, I expect that this will go down to a more normal level, by August. We're still certain as to the exact start date of the new city administrator.
So would we need a second budget amendment then?
Not in
To
this
cover
year.
those
Not
two
this
months,
year.
July to August? Or?
I don't think so.
No, because July and August you would do in December.
No.
When you do your December budget amendments or January.
At the year end, we'll
Yeah.
catch up with everything.
Yeah, that's when you
Okay.
would do the new fiscal year budget.
So, so that's where and actually that also impacts the employee taxes and benefits right there. So, those two I expect to go down to what we've budgeted, within our budgeted, levels for 22, 23. The real minor change to the tax tribunal returns, like $9, just zeroed out. And then we added a bit for streetscaping. We know we have we had some expenses getting our watering trailer up and running again, and I would like to just take a quick second to say thank you to the chief and his very mechanically inclined officers for their assistance in helping me get that up and running.
No problem.
So sincerely appreciated. So we did have some extra expenses in there to get that fixed, but it's doing well. And then
In the credit union world, we call that one band, one sound. We're all working together, so.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
we're gonna have to steal that from
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
One
that's,
might
band,
need
one
to text
sound.
that one to me.
yeah.
And then the planning and consulting fees. That's just really to get us in line with what we've spent so far. And as I mentioned in our when we approved the budget for next year, that planning and consulting line item, it will be back down to $15,300 to align with the cost share.
That's because we overpaid this year, so
Yes. Yep. In part because we overpaid this year, but we also overpaid because we still had some residuals from the comprehensive DDA, comprehensive master plan DDA plan that we had. So we'll get back down to
To the budgeted amount.
to the budgeted
Right.
amount next year.
Makes
So,
sense.
And before I don't want to lose track of this though, the salaries / full-time, what you guys were given in addition, we don't say that that's offset by the fact that we're not paying a full-time city administrator, right? Right, so that's a pickup, actually, it's not a added expense.
It's a pickup between Susie and I, Tad.
No, that's not what I'm
Well,
saying. It's
yeah,
offset
but
by the
it's-
fact that we're not paying a full-time city
Right.
administrator, so it's an inflated expense.
I think Susie's portion of it comes directly from the DDA.
Right, it's Susie's
That's- I
portion.
understand.
But we wouldn't be reimbursed, but overall, yeah, net effect, the city is actually saving.
It's the city.
That's
that
the point I'm
wins.
trying to
Right.
make.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Right.
I was a little questionable on the accounting of that too, but clearly we pay all of her salary and a portion of
10%,
yours.
yep.
We're not responsible for the whole 8,000. But the city is saving
Overall,
Susie's,
exactly.
or your portion of it, not really, so,
Right.
yeah, and not paying a new city administrator, so.
So,
So but all in all, I'm, and I again, while it's not, part of the amendments, I mean, obviously the overall, June amendments, our total expenditures are at $567,871. We will be dipping into the fund balance. We've been talking about that and planning for that and anticipating that. But all in all, I think this will align our budget for the end of this fiscal year quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean, sidewalks,
We have a lot to show for it.
yeah,
You do,
We do.
approaches, alley work.
Yeah.
right?
All right,
So, so I just need suggested, or
You
the
need a
suggest,
motion.
yep, to adopt the proposed June amendments for the 21-22 fiscal year. DDA
I
budget.
will make the motion to adopt the amendments for the June 2022 amended budget.
is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
Motion carries. I'm learning, Dick.
Good, I like it.
Hey, you're doing great.
It's finished strong.
You are doing great. So our last point of discussion is the construction year. That's what CY stands for, just in case you guys were curious. Construction year Wiltshire Alley discussion. So, you may recall we have been talking with the city engineer, Scott Windler, on making alley and approach improvements. We have done, both approaches on Wiltshire have been done at this point. And in conversations with the city engineer, he is recommending that we actually add the Wiltshire Alley to our project costs this year, so we can have one complete alleyway.
Oh, that's
From approach
interesting.
to approach.
Yeah.
We had, and this was discussed and detailed in that spreadsheet, in with the,
What grade did he give that strip? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
Must have been a bad, like it was A, B, C, D or something, remember?
Yeah, it was probably around a 5,
Well, yep,
like a 4 or
right,
5, which
right.
is, if you remember, like 3 4s are okay. 3 4 5 is okay. Like 1 through 3 is like, oh, that's bad. And then 7 through 9 is like, hey, those are in good shape. 10s are basically just it just got paved, and so it's perfect. But next year it will be a 9, right? So it's, again, this was identified in that conceptual plan as being approximately $95,000. His estimates now are, and this includes engineering costs and 15% contingency, is $63,480,000.
Still 30 grand left. Okay.
So it is my recommendation. Hello.
Hello. Have they left, though, that site they've done the one section, have they left? So they'd have to come back?
No, this will just.
Or are they still there?
They can come back. It's not like won't be charged an additional mobilization fee.
Yeah, the mobilization fee is what I'm getting at.
So that part's fine. I mean, they still have work to do.
I'm sorry.
Who's she looking
So my recommendation would be that we move forward and add this to. I know we talked about doing like, let's do a lot.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not?
But yes.
I'm sorry.
But
And we were
what's,
trying to figure out the logistics
There's
of
some
having.
Open Meetings Act.
Yeah, that's what's
Yeah.
going on, so that's why I need it before we even go on. So, has this meeting been posted?
Yes.
Okay, so, and then people are able to know that we had this meeting,
Yes.
Mhm.
so then it's
Oh,
not a
yeah.
violation.
No?
correct.
No, if it's posted,
Okay.
as long as people know that you
Mhm.
know, it's open to everyone.
Okay.
You're good.
Just making sure. Right.
Sorry.
You know,
go ahead.
you may recall that we talked about the initial discussion on the alleys and approaches. We kind of had like a more conservative approach. No pun intended. And then the Economic Vitality Committee also looked at doing a more aggressive construction schedule, and that was a little. That was
Yeah, a little too robust.
little
We
too
said yes.
robust.
We said yes until we saw the price.
then
tag.
we saw- we said yes until we saw the price tag.
Time out, let's go back
Exactly.
to number 1.
Exactly.
So, this would be an increase from
So-
our initial, but
So is this just phased differently then? Were we
Yes.
gonna do it, and he's saying this is a benefit, or it is not a cost benefit, it is less than what he initially estimated, but he's there and has the tools. Are we getting a deal on doing it now? or-
Right, that's,
well, I mean, a deal insofar as that, I mean, we're getting the cost per, the unit cost for doing all the work now. I would expect that waiting to do this, I think this was anticipated for next year, maybe the year after. So I would anticipate that those costs are gonna rise again next year and the year after. Yes,
that's an
in some way
interesting-
we are getting
that's an
that cost
interesting point.
savings.
Yeah, that's true.
Now.
Inflation wasn't baked into the original 90,000
No.
either, so
No.
this is a real
I mean, there was a
benefit.
minor increase. I think
Mhm.
it was like, I wanna say like 2.5%, which is pretty standard for all the contracts. But, yeah, certainly inflation was not nearly.
But you don't know if it was a year out or 2 years out.
Right, I can't recall.
I can't
off the-
recall.
Off the top
I
of my
mean-
head either.
So is this work gonna be done before June 30th or just after June 30th?
After.
Okay.
So.
So what's the action here? Do we need to agree that we're gonna do that? Do we?
I think that it would be wise for us to make a motion to include
The completion of the alleyway?
the repaving of the Wilshire alley.
Well, it just sounds prudent. I mean,
yes.
we're saving over $30,000 from what was estimated some time ago, and costs are going up, so.
Yes.
Yes.
My grandpa used to say, you got the band and the tent, you might as well get married.
Another band reference.
You are killing it with the band references too, I just have to say.
Wow, I have a whole new office vocabulary.
I'm working on a book.
But if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it.
We're already there.
now.
Yeah,
We
we
might as
might
well
as
save
well
a
do it.
dollar and do
Yeah.
it now. It's prudent, as Brian said.
So, do we have a motion to?
Well, yeah, what do you need from us exactly?
Motion.
'Cause
Like I
wouldn't we
said,
do a
I think
budget
we just need
amendment
to,
for that in the
um,
future?
We may need to do a budget amendment in
December.
December, but
We need to agree to move forward
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
completion
with
of this
project.
alleyway at the proposed price and do a budget measure when the time comes. So we're giving them authorization to move forward.
yeah. So I would say, like I said, a motion to authorize the completion of the Wilshire alley for the construction year of 2022.
So I'll offer a motion.
Well, seeing as how you just said it.
I will offer a motion to authorize the completion of the Wiltshire Alley
Yeah.
rebuild along with the work we've already done on the approaches.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
That
Well,
brings
that'll
us
be
to-
exciting. We need to add that to our list of accomplishments, because that'll be a continuous loop.
Oh, indeed.
That's exciting.
That will definitely be
Mhm.
added to our annual report and running list of awesome projects that we've managed to complete. So,
Just to be mindful of everyone's time constraints. Brings us
Yep.
to public
Yes.
comment. Is there any public comment?
Yeah, just a few things. I was just wondering if there is a plan of improvement in place for the code enforcement officer? It seems like it's been going on for quite some time, so I wondered if there was anything officially in place. Second thing, where in the budget do the activities show up? You mentioned that $3,800 was spent on Juneteenth, where is that in
it's in the Main Street.
the Main Street? Okay.
Can you repeat the first one, your first question again?
Plan of improvement?
Yeah, could you just repeat the first question again? I
Sure.
didn't catch all of it.
Sure, I just was wondering if there's a plan of improvement in place for the code enforcement office.
Yeah, I work hand in hand with Rami, hoping to improve his communication skills with the residents verbally as well as in writing. It's been an ongoing process, and hopefully we'll continue to see some progress. A formal plan, there's not a true formal plan, but you know, as complaints come in, we sit down and we discuss it, how we could have done it better and try to make it right. So we continue to work through that.
Okay, so the activities are in the Main Street line. And then what does it mean if you're partnering on an event, like car show, back to school? I saw that in the minutes from the last meeting. What does that mean?
It depends on the event. It depends on the event and what we've discussed, right? So the vast majority of the time it is a promotions and marketing partnership. There are, the DDA has, I mean, we're not fundraising for anyone. That is not something that we can do as a DDA. So, I mean, there's no kind of financial outlay that way, but most of the time it's just promotions and marketing.
So do we contribute resources to?
It depends on the event.
I could speak to our event, then that way we have a specific event, if you wanna
If you
do
like.
that. So with our event, the back to school rally, our partnering was basically, like she said, getting the word out. There was no financial partnering, but there was like Oakland County services as far as like
Yeah,
bounce
health-
houses and stuff like
health
that.
services.
But the financial piece, the book bags, the school supplies, all that came through our organization, whether it was from other organizations donating to us or just out of our own accounting line.
And just to speak specifically to that event too, that was a partnership with the city's Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah,
This-
with the city parks and
The
Rec.
DDA, I mean, we have helped to promote that event. We did not participate previously, though we are planning to partner this year. But we also have not worked out any of those details for this year, but
Okay, so then for the Juneteenth, like you said, there were 10 vendors. Do vendors pay to have a
Yes.
table or a booth?
Mhm.
They do? Okay. And I guess, after you take the salaries and benefits out for short term, you're still 100,000, about 100,000 expenditures over revenue. We've got a deficit with our budget, so there's this, are there, plans for cutting so that we
No.
bring things in line?
no. Those, the DDA board has a fund balance, and we have a mandate from the state that we need to spend our fund balance on projects that are outlined and detailed in the DDA development plan, and we are. So our board has been discussing over the course of the last at least 6 months, if not longer, making significant capital improvements to the corridor through repaving, through repaving of the alleys, the approaches, the sidewalks. We've begun discussing how we're going to get a hawk signal. We've been talking about a variety of ways that we can accomplish the goals of our development plan. And so we are well aware that we are dipping into our fund balance to accomplish these things. And we made amendments back in June of approximately $200,000 and some change to account for those expenditures for the alleyways and the sidewalks.
January, you said you.
Oh,
That's okay.
January of this year, not June. So, so no, we have no intentions of cutting. Yes.
The tree at 12 in Southfield, it's been dead, or is anybody spraying it or taking care of it, or is it coming down, will it get replaced? What's going on with that?
Which side of the road is that on?
Right by the gas station, the tree behind our entrance.
I
I've not noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
no plans at the moment. I mean, if we do anything with the tree, which I'm sure obviously we have to take some sort of action. We won't do that until the fall, when there's a more appropriate planting time. So we'll take the summer to figure out what our plan of action is.
Has anyone looked to see if it can be revived? Has anyone looked at it? Have you had a tree?
No.
Or do you think it's gonna have to come down?
I have no idea. I have
Is
no
that part
idea.
of DDA?
The DDA maintains that garden. I don't know if that tree is part of the gas stations.
I don't think you have to answer.
Technically, the gas station could own that.
Yeah, I
tree.
mean, that could be part of the gas station's landscaping that they need to do. I would have to dig out the plan. I'll need to do some research.
Yeah, and I can, maybe if I get a clipping, I can take it to English Gardens and see
Yeah.
if it can be treated, but
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
So it's not the 2 pine trees, there's another tree? Is it
Oh, it's a
deciduous
tree
tree?
tree.
A
It's
deciduous tree?
I,
Oh,
I
haven't
do want to
noticed
remind everybody, public comment is for comments, not question and answer.
Oh,
So we can
thank you.
take anything under advisement. and-
Okay, there's your
Yeah,
comment.
yeah.
The tree's dead.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
Thank you for that awareness. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
All right.
Any other public comment?
All right.
All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
it. I'll make a motion.
I will second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye, 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 aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned.